Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. So maybe right now you're feeling like you may not have a lot of friends, or maybe you've moved somewhere else and it's just become really tough to go and make any friends or make any connections. Or even nowadays, you could just be feeling like making friends or deep, genuine connections is hard in of itself. And I'd say you're not alone in that. So in this video, I'm just going to give you a couple tips and just solutions and to how to go about this because it is a tough subject. So, just to show you how tough it is, the American Psychological Association in 2024, they did a sample between the ages of 18 and 30, and they realized that loneliness has increased among US American adults by 30%. Now, what do they classify as loneliness? You may be thinking, well, loneliness to them was you have no friends, you have no connections, you are truly alone. 30%. Let me just tell you a quick story. There's once a guy named Noah. Now, Noah, by all accounts, was just the most normal, average kind of guy you'd ever meet. He's nothing spectacular, but he was still doing pretty well for himself. Noah was on the classic path, the path that everybody tells you that you should be on. He was going to college, he was going ahead and going to school, he was majoring in business, and while in college, he by all means was just you classify him as somebody who's an extrovert. He was making tons of friends and he was heads in so many different types of clubs. And as senior year approached, Noah was trying to go and find a job. So, like all people, Noah went online and through months and months and months of trying to find a job, he finally found one. He interned there and finally, in his last semester of his senior year, he got an offer. But it was in a whole nother state. So, what did Noah do? Well, Noah said, yeah, he was young, nothing was holding him down, and his family was perfectly fine with it. So, Noah graduated, and he felt very proud. But after graduating, when he did graduate, he went to his job. And he was expecting to make all these changes. I was, I'm going to change the world. But as he got there, and as the first day came around, he was bright, he was ready, he was sharply dressed. He said, I'm ready to go work. And as the first day passed, went great. Then the first week. And then the first week became the first month. And then the first month became the first year. Noah grew quite distant from his friends at college just because the hustle and bustle of normal growing up, of just normal life altogether. So those connections started to dry out. Noah's job just seemed to be the same thing, stuck in a cube, typing away, type, type, type. Then came Thursday, like any other Thursday. After it hit the late night, late afternoon shift, Noah decided to go take a break. So, shoot, I might as well go ahead and take a quick little water break. So, Noah went over to the water cooler, took a quick stroll over there. And as he's getting some water, he started to overhear some coworkers talk about this volleyball tournament that they were holding and how you could join and be a part of a team. Bill asked Noah, hey, Noah, you want to go come out and play with us? Noah looked with confusion and disgust and said, no, I'm all good. Noah went back to his desk, and later on that night, Noah did go home. And while Noah was at home, he was scrolling through social media. And all that seemed to pop up were people saying how great this volleyball tournament was. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Bill hit that spike. Jenny did such a great save. And it kept on scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It started to turn into disdain. Noah smirked to himself and said, I don't need them. I have friends. So Noah thought to himself, I'll just go out to a restaurant, treat myself a little. So Noah went to a nice little hole-in-the-wall place. While there, he was promptly seated. And while he was there, he's sat there. And when he got his meal, he started to look around. And he saw all these people just laughing and having a good old jolly time. And Noah looked down at his plate with such disdain. He never felt more alone in his life. His friends back at home, where were they all at? His family back at home? I really thought, I really do hate it here. As the meal kept on going on and Noah just kept on picking at his food, he started to hear a very familiar laughter in the back. And Noah kind of seemed to notice this laughter. And all of a sudden he started to hear, Noah, Noah, hey Noah. Noah looked up. It was Bill. Bill, with just a gleaming smile, looked at him. And he just went, hey man, what are you doing sitting alone? And I was like, what are you doing here? Bill said, we came here after just playing the volleyball game. We didn't win, but we sure did have some fun. You mind if we join you? And Noah thought to himself, do I really want to do this? Shoot, might as well. He said, sure. And Bill and all the rest of them joined him. And over the time that perspired there, Noah just started to laugh. He laughed more than he had laughed in the past 6 months. So why do I tell this story? See, we do a lot of times push other people off. Why? First, hustle culture. You may think, I'm doing this, I don't need friends because I'm getting down to it. In a world that promotes so much hustle culture of that in and of itself, we somehow put inside of our minds this thought of, I need all this time to do all these things. And we associate being busy with living a happy life. And for some, that is true. And that's you. Kudos to you. But part of also is taking a leap and reaching out on a limb and just admitting, I can probably do that thing if I just gave myself less time. See, there's a study done over this, and it's just really over the amount of time you give yourself is the amount of time that you're going to get that thing done in. So if I give myself 4 hours, I'm going to get that thing done in 4 hours. But I give myself 2 hours, I'm likely going to be able to do most of the work in those 2 hours. So stop pushing and blowing other people off just because you're busy. Trust me, I did it all the time, and I still do it now, and it's something that I'm working on. See, and maybe you're like Noah because you think, oh, I already have friends back at home. So you're like, I don't need to make more friends. Well, here's what I'd say to you. What is the problem with making new friends? Now, I'm not saying go out there and just be like, oh, you're my friend. You're my friend. Uh, you're my friend without filtering them. But what is actually the problem with making new connections, new friends? I get it, everybody's different, and some people just like to have their five or their three or their two or just their one. If that works for you, that's great. But at least if that is your one, two, or three, reach out to them, see how they're doing. Do that. But you can't blame people for why you're isolated if you're not reaching out yourself. See, a Harvard study found that people who are in isolation, what starts to happen to them is that isolation becomes their comfort zone because their comfort zone is not reaching out towards others people. See, we as humans, we like to be comfortable with our friends. We don't like to reach out. So we won't reach out to other people. But it's kind of oxymoronic because in what this study shows is in the pursuit of being in your comfort zone and not reaching out to other people, you actually make it worse. And what they found is a lot of people who did not reach out and became more isolated actually built up more anxiety in reaching out to people alone. So break out of that. Break out of that. Go out there and just say, hey, how are you doing? Even if you see somebody, just say, hi, how's your day? There you go. Nothing crazy. But we have to stop being in our comfort zone because that comfort zone may be making you feel comfortable in the current present time, but in reality and in the future, it can actually just make your life feel horrible and a lot worse. It's something that I believe maybe even yourself you've struggled with. I've struggled with it for sure, but I bet there's some of you watching this right now. And to those of you that watched this video and got to hear that story and got nothing out of it, I'd like to say good night. There's your free bedtime story for free. Those things don't come for free anymore, man. I tell you now. So, you're welcome. But one thing I'd like to say is just don't let yourself be tied to the screen. Reach out, connect, and don't be afraid of making new relationships. All right, I'll see y'all.